for your love, Jesus. We are so grateful for your love. Praise the Lord. We worship you in the spirit and truth.
No different from these people here, because they were financially fruitful at a time, this was at a time when things were going well, and things are, been pretty good in America for a while too, and we're just pretty comfortable, aren't we? We're just quite comfy. But what happens to sheep when they get comfortable? Complacency, maybe a little bit. We just kind of, you know what, God, I got it today. It's okay. I'll check with you later. But it's a vivid picture here of how our idolatry is, and how we reject the Lord in our own ways, and how we can hurt God's heart as well, as much as He loves us. When we put anything else in front of the Lord, it hurts Him like the unfaithfulness of an adulterer. We really have to catch a vision of that. Anything else, all it means is we walk with an awareness that God is present. That's one thing I have noticed as a public school teacher for years, and you work with troubled kids. Joanne, you work with kids. Is there anyone else in here who works with kids? What I have noticed, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I see that there's a lack of God consciousness in kids. They don't have an awareness that someone's watching. He's watching. And He's not watching us with a hammer, ready to... I used to think that was what God was doing. If I do something wrong, God's going to hammer me. No. He's watching us with love. Especially us, if we're His children. He's watching with great interest. He knows everything. He knows how we're going to respond, but I think He enjoys watching us respond, when we respond correctly. Other times it's like, so, okay, well, I've got to work on her in that area. Yes, I'll get started. But He's putting Hosea in the place, though, like I said earlier, where he feels what God is feeling. So, let's look at verses 3 through 15, or 3 through 5. I love Israel, but I'm going to break their bow. Ooh, I don't want to get my bow broken. So that's what God does, and it's with love, everything He does. But have you ever been broken? I have. And it hurts. But we know Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to His purpose. We don't like it. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. But God will use it for good. And you know what, ladies? His light shines better through cracked pots, doesn't it? Every one of us has been broken in one way or another, and more than once. And yet God has used it to touch our lives, to change us, to mold us, to shape us, to soften us, and to bring us more into His conformity. And it's all done in love. God says, though, that He will bring us together. He says to them, I will bring Judah and Israel together. And He's even going to bring the Gentiles in. That's us. That's where we fit in. Into one body. God doesn't care what the color of our skin. He cares what's going on the inside. All lives matter to God. And it's not, He doesn't look at outward appearance. He looks on the heart. And that's what He wants us to do. So Ephesians 2:14 through 16. Let's go ahead and look at that real quickly. Okay, He puts to death their hostility. He's going to bring us together as one. And He can put to death hostility. He's a God of restoration. He can put to death hostility between Judah and Israel, between Jews and Gentiles, between you and your husband, between you and your co-worker, but he can bring healing in those relationships. He is a God of restoration, and let's let him do it. Well, verses 2 and 3 of chapter 2, contend with your mother, contend, for she is not my wife, and I am not her husband, and let her put away her harlotry from her face, and her adultery from between her breasts. I mean, God is getting really visual here. You know, he makes reference to her breasts, and that is that lewd conduct that an adulteress would have, married to a very good man who loves her, and she's exposing her bare breasts before this man. Think about how that hurts Hosea. And God is saying, you know, this is how it feels. Put yourself in my place. God paints Israel as an adulterous wife. God warns Israel that if she will not put away her harlot-like ways, she will be judged. Israel justified her harlotry because she received good things from her lovers. She looked at all the good she seemed to be getting from her sin. Gomer looked like, you know, hey, I'm getting some good stuff out of this. Seemed like a pretty good deal. Gomer didn't understand, though, what it said in Hebrews, with the passing pleasures of sin. Sin is fun for a while, ladies, but it always comes back to bite us.
Yep.
And we're all guilty. Gomer, ladies, is a picture of you, and she's a picture of me.